keeping on guys?
Very close. We keep a very close eye on the guys. We talked about it yesterday. I think player safety is first and foremost, right? That's got to be paramount. And so, monitoring, obviously any health issues, asthma, sickle cell, things of that nature, monitoring hydration. Clearly, we monitor, the amount our guys run with our catapult. So we have a pretty good pace and pulse of kind of what's happening for the team, and kind of go from there. But like I said yesterday, at the end of the day, it's kind of like we need to monitor them and we need to work them into it. But we also recognize, in 30 days, it is what it is. We got to play, and it's probably going to be hotter because we'll be in the stadium and the turf is just that much warmer.
No pads the first couple practices.
Yeah.
What are you trying to get out of these?
Well, you start to try to apply the fundamentals and techniques that we were able to work on in the summer. Whether it's O-line, D-line, DBs, receivers, quarterbacks. You try to go back to here's day one installation, and then who can retain that installation and then go apply it through drills and then ultimately in the team settings. And you try to find out who has that level of consistency, to do right over and over and over and over again, especially when fatigue gets in. It's hot, you're tired, you may have cramped, you're back in, can you refocus? Those are all the types of things we're looking for.
I know pads aren't on, but across any position, could guys move up or down?
Not today. I'm not worried about that. The way we practice, we two spot, so everybody gets the same amount of reps. Everybody gets the same number of plays, same scripts on both fields. So that part of it is, as a staff, we go watch the entire practice. Whether you're a 1, 2, 3, or 4, we're watching everything. Naturally, as we get through a few days, some guys may move a little bit. But even, I think you guys might have seen the way we did special teams today. We really had 4 teams, and everybody was doing the same stuff. So we're really just trying to teach really well today, see who can take that information, go apply it in practice, and then do it again in day 2, right? Because the installation will continue to grow.
Coach, I know you got to look at some of the film, but Malik Murphy, how healthy is he looking out there? Troy Mary as well, and I know Billings leaving for a little bit of a limp as well. So.
Malik, I thought, it's good to get him out there in the first day because we didn't have him for spring ball the first day, kind of that base installation. We didn't have him for the first day of summer when we did our skill development because he was graduating from high school. So he kind of missed both beginnings. So to have him today was great for him. I think there's naturally some things that he does really, really well, and that he created some big plays today when he was in there. But there's still a bunch to learn. There were some other plays that I'm sure he'd love to have back and some learning experiences, and that's all part of growth. But it was just good to have him in day one. Who's the second guy?
Troy.
Yeah, Troy. Again, good to have him back out there. Faded a little towards the end, I think, just naturally of first day back out really on the field practicing in a year. But it was good to have him. Hopefully tomorrow we get him a little longer. But it was good to have him back. You saw glimpses of kind of what we thought of Troy a year ago. And Jaleel, he had a little tightness in his hamstring, and again, just to touch on earlier, when you start talking about player safety of just monitoring these guys, I just didn't feel the need to make it any worse, so we kind of limited him today.
Did you switch from morning to afternoon practice?
No, sir. Today was planned to be 2:30.
And the rest of the week?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday we'll go Saturday night.
But you'll do some morning and some afternoon?
Yeah, we'll go Monday morning. We'll be back in the morning. So we'll rotate pretty good. Morning, afternoon, evening for the first, I guess that's, 2.5 weeks. Yeah. And then when we start school on the 22nd, we'll be exclusively in the morning.
Flood mentioned Connor Robertson, and Hudson, and DJ getting looks at center.
Yeah.
What do you like about Connor Robertson?
Try to buy.
Connor, what I like about him is, he played tackle in high school, but yet he has a interior lineman kind of skill set. But the fact that he had the movement skills to be able to play tackle in high school, I think shows his versatility, his ability to move. He's obviously a very smart player, comes from a great program. So we're excited about kind of his growth potential and his work ethic, and I think he's come in with a really good mindset this summer, driven and focused and competitive.
You saw Jet playing. He's back at the normal linebacker spot where he was in high school. How have you seen him take to that position?
Yeah, I think it's been good for him. We just, again, retooling, kind of where people are defensively for us, to get Jet back into kind of, I think, his comfort zone. I felt like at times a year ago, he almost got swallowed up a little bit when he was on the line of scrimmage, and I think he can just be a little bit more effective off the ball, which we did in spring ball a fair amount as well. But he is an instinctive guy, and that's what that position requires. It requires instincts. He's obviously very tough, and he provides a lot for us, I think, and will provide a lot for us on special teams.
And similarly, is Luke Brockemeyer full go?
He's not full go, no, but he practiced today.
Is Gilbo out there?
He was not. He dealing with a personal issue. He'll be back tomorrow.
Do you feel better about the linebacker issue? You mentioned spring or summer you were worried about the
Yeah, I feel a little better, obviously, with the move of Jet, with the addition of Tuck, the emergence of Jalen Ford. I like the progression of Devin Richardson. So, again, not to leave people out, but I feel better today than I probably did, 3 months ago.
Coach, towards the end of last season, you said you're going to be more involved in the defense this year. What does that look like from a scheduling standpoint? Do you find yourself in more meetings, especially around this time? I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, I do. I try to be just more engaged in defensive meetings, and not to slight from an offensive perspective, but we adjusted a little bit of our schedule. For example, this morning, the defense lifted first, the offense met, and then the defense came and met, and the offense went and lifted, and that gave me an opportunity to go to both sides of the ball's meetings, to be in there for the unit meetings, and then go to specific position groups. I just want more of a presence, and I spoke to the defense last night about that I want them to feel my presence and the style of play that I would like for us to play defensively, and I think they need to hear that from me, along with PK and Choate and T-Joe and Bo and Blake and that whole crew. But I can't just say to the staff I need to be involved with those guys, and I'd be able to coach them when we're on the field as well.
PK said he met with Dan Quinn. Did you help set up that meeting?
Yeah. DQ and I obviously go way back, prior to even when we were in Atlanta. He was in Seattle when I was at the University of Washington. Developed a great relationship. And then obviously working for Dan for 2 years in Atlanta. I think Dan's an excellent teacher. I think he does an awesome job of conveying his message. But I also think there's a unique connection between he and PK in that they're both defensive front guys. Dan is a D-line specialist. PK is a D-line, edge specialist. And so the idea of installing, the idea of game planning, the idea of calling a defense in game with that perspective, from a front perspective, I think we all can continue to grow. It's no different than me going to visit with Sean McVay, right? I never feel like I'm not trying to grow and get better and improve, and PK is no different. I think he's 55, and he's meeting with one of the best in the NFL right now, and finding new ways and new techniques to motivate, to scheme, to instill fundamentals and techniques in our defense and a style of play that we all want him to have.
Is there any drill that you added and moved into your practice schedule that was in response to a weakness that you saw last year?
Not as of today. I mean, obviously the special teams was definitely a different component. I felt like a year ago we were relying on too many frontline starters on too many special teams. Meaning, I'm a starting will linebacker, but I'm starting on 3 or 4 special teams. That's too many. And we want all of our starters to have an impact on special teams, 1, maybe 2. But to do that, we need to develop our younger players so that they can have an impact and that we can trust them on teams. The only way to do it is to give them real competitions, and that's why we kind of essentially for the first 10 practices, we will have 4 teams competing against one another. And hopefully that provides opportunities to see guys and give them the opportunity to kind of showcase, their ability to get into the 3 deep for that next week, and then ultimately get into the 2 deep for game week.
So in terms of in the recruiting process when you're looking for guys that you think might be core special teams guys? Is that stuff you can watch on film in high school or determine in the evaluation process, or is that more just kind of recruit tools and then figure that out when guys get here done?
Well, it's always an advantage when they play special teams in high school. You know, two guys that jump out to me, for example, Maurice Blackwell was a heck of a special teams player in high school. Travell Johnson was a really good special teams player in high school, and it was all over their tape, covering kicks, blocking punts. So we always try to find those things. And then some guys don't. You know, some guys are the best player on their team, and I don't blame their high school coaches for not wanting to put them out there, and because they play every snap on offense and defense. And you know, naturally, you know, most good football players are good at special teams, you know, because the instincts are still there. But we definitely try to find it in the film study of recruiting, because that's one of the quickest ways for those young players to get on the field is on teams that first year.
All right, two last ones.
Jai Hall, there seem to be some questions about his maturity coming out of Alabama. How have you found him?
I think he's progressing. You know, transition is tough for everybody. You know, I get all that. You know, and when you're a true freshman and you're thrust into some of the environments and big time games he was in, and are you prepared? Are you not? And so our job as coaches, when any player, a Jai is no different than a Keelan Robinson or Ryan Watts or anybody that comes into our program, is to try to get them immersed into our culture. And then try to develop them on and off the field so that they can grow and have an impact on our team, but also kind of grow as a person and as a man and as a player, to build their own brand, you know, to be what they can be, and try to get them to get as close to their potential as possible. And he's got a lot of potential. I think he's making progress and making strides. Not a finished product, and that's okay. Like I don't expect our guys to be finished products, but what I do expect is growth, and I think we're seeing that.
Coach, I hate to break tradition, so your quarterbacks, how did Quinn and Hudson look today?
I thought they did a good job. You know, there's always going to be plays that they wish they could have back, you know, and I thought we played pretty good coverage today too. We created some big plays. I thought they took shots down the field, which showed that mentality that we want. We hit some, we didn't hit some, that's okay. I think more importantly, as we grow here into day 2, day 3, day 4, this first week, is really developing that precision passing game, which, you know, I don't expect it to be just on point precise in day 1. You know, it's new. We're out there, we're really running plays together. It's different than when you're just throwing individual routes. And so there's probably a handful of throws that, man, I want that ball a yard in front of his front number, and it was on the receiver's back hip. And so, you know, from day 2, are we moving that target? Are we moving that throw? Are we really throwing that ball with accuracy that I know they're capable of doing? But again, there's a lot going on offensively. There's a lot going on defensively. We're playing a little tighter coverage. But for the first day, I was definitely pleased with their performance.
Last one.
You both can go. It's okay, guys.
Tariq Milton? What?
Yeah. I like Tariq. You know, Tariq is a very mature young man. You see why he kind of had the role that he had at Iowa State. He definitely has, you know, real speed. He's got a really mature approach to the game. He's prepared. He's organized. He's got his life in order, and it shows on the field. He knows what he's doing, and so glad to have him for sure.
I was going to double back on the quarterbacks. You look real strongly at how they carry themselves.
For
like,
sure.
There's one guy I feel like this is my team, and
I don't know. What I look for is body language, definitely. I look for, you know, sometimes body language is ownership. You know, there's a level of accountability, you know, and that's taking responsibility for your own actions. If you miss the throw, are you willing to own it and let the receiver know? You know, that sometimes that's as important as having a lot of bravado and a lot of confidence, because that to me is a lot of confidence, that you're willing to accept, you know, responsibility for a missed play. And so I think both these guys are really mature. They got a really cool workman-like mentality. And I know I said this yesterday, but there's something about our room this year that I really enjoy. These guys, it's definitely competitive, but I feel like they work really well together, and they they're pulling for one another. I think these guys really want to win a championship, and that, to me, is very healthy. That doesn't mean one guy doesn't want to start more than the other. I'm sure they both do. But they came to work today just to enjoy playing football, get better at football, persevere through some of the tough plays and get on the other side of them and keep grinding through practice. And I thought they did that.